distance. The sounds that once defined excitement, rebellion, or depth now feel foreign, even empty. The passion we once had for discovering new artists, for finding that one song that speaks directly to you, seems to wane. It's in that moment that we begin to ask ourselves, has the music changed, or have we? For those of us who grew up in a certain era, music was more than just entertainment. It was a language, a pulse, a kind of mirror reflecting back our hopes, frustrations, and dreams. We knew the sound of our generation, the texture of its guitars, the cadence of its lyrics, the weight of its melodies. Whether we found solace in raw emotion, innovation, or pure energy, the music we loved felt like something real, something important. But as time moves forward, the landscape shifts. What was once at the heart of culture fades into nostalgia, and in its place, a new sound emerges. One that, more often than not, fails to resonate in the same way. So the question is, why? Is it simply that we grow older, that our ears become set in their ways? Is there a natural point where we stop being the audience for what's fresh and new? Or is there a deeper concern at play? One that suggests the music itself has lost something. Let's consider how deeply personal music is. The songs we love aren't just sounds, they're memories. They're the background of our most formative years. They're the soundtrack to first love, to heartbreak, to long drives with no destination, to nights spent wide awake contemplating the future. The music we grow up with embeds itself in our identity and the fabric of who we are. And so, when a new wave of artists emerges, it's not just a matter of unfamiliarity. It's a challenge to the way we understand music itself. If what's popular now doesn't speak to us, does that mean we've lost touch, or has something changed in the very essence of music? There is an argument to be made that every generation believes its music was the last great era. The older we get, the more we view our musical past with a kind of golden glow, seeing in it a level of artistry, honesty, or creativity that we feel is lacking in the present. But is this just nostalgia, or is there some truth to it? Has the music industry shifted in ways that prioritize formula over feeling, marketing over musicianship? Have we entered an era where the pursuit of mass appeal outweighs the raw, unfiltered expression that once defined greatness? It's easy to dismiss modern music as lesser, to say that it lacks heart, to say that it lacks grit, or even soul of what came before. But it's also worth asking whether that's entirely fair. Could it be that we're no longer the intended audience? That the things there is something humbling and maybe a little sobering in realizing that what once felt like our culture has moved on without us. But this realization doesn't have to be a loss. Music doesn't exist in a vacuum. It evolves, reshapes, reinvents itself with each passing generation. The things we love about music, its ability to move us, to transport us, to give voice to what words alone can't, those things don't disappear. They may not be as easy to find or as readily given to us, but they still exist. The question then is whether we're willing to seek them out, or whether we resign ourselves to the idea that music has left us behind. But before we answer that, we need to confront the heart of this dilemma. Is this merely a personal shift, or is there truly something missing in the music of today? Is it possible that the way music is created, distributed, and consumed has fundamentally altered its depth and meaning? And if so, what does that mean for those of us still searching for something real? If we're to believe that music moves in cycles, that each generation produces its own sound, its own voice, then we need to consider whether our growing disinterest in new music is a natural part of aging. Maybe there's a point where we're no longer meant to be that audience for what's current. Maybe as we mature, the urgency with which we once sought to discover those new songs fades. But this explanation alone doesn't feel sufficient. While it is true that our musical tastes solidify over time, it's also true that great music, truly great music, transcends generations. We can listen to a song written decades before we were born and still feel its power. We can hear a voice from another era and recognize its depth, its sincerity, its craft. If that's the case, then why do so many of us feel that something vital is missing from what's considered popular today? Well, let's look at the way music is made, consumed, and valued in the modern world. Music is no longer just an art form. It's an industry, a product shaped by algorithms, streaming metrics, and going viral on social media. While music has always existed within a commercial framework, there was a time when success was built on artistic identity, on the ability to create something distinct, something lasting. Today, the landscape is different. The songs are engineered for immediate consumption, designed to grab attention within the first few seconds, written not necessarily for longevity, but for playlist placement, for short-lived trends, for the fleeting currency of engagement. This shift raises an uncomfortable question. Has music lost its soul? Has the pursuit of commercial success stripped music of its depth, its sense of risk, its willingness to challenge and provoke? There was a time when music felt unpredictable, when artists pushed boundaries not just for shock value, but for the sake of expression. Now, much much of what dominates the mainstream feels safe, optimized, predictable. And for those of us who grew up in an era where music felt raw and urgent, this new world can feel alien. But even if the industry has changed, that doesn't mean great music no longer exists. It may be harder to find, buried beneath an ocean of formulaic releases, but it's still out there. The difference is that it's no longer handed to us the same way. When we were younger, we lived in the heart of musical culture. We were the ones who dictated what was relevant, who decided what would be remembered. Now that power belongs to a new generation, and whether we like it or not, their musical values are different from ours. This doesn't mean we have to resign ourselves to disengagement. If music has lost its sense of artistry in the mainstream, then it's up to us to seek out the places where it still thrives. The underground scenes, the independent artists, the ones who create not for mass appeal, but because they must. These are the musicians still carrying the torch. They may not be known on the radio. They may not be breaking streaming records, but they're the ones keeping music alive in its truest form. So maybe the question isn't whether music has left us behind, but whether we've stopped looking for what still moves us. If we only measure music by what's most visible, most popular, then yes, it may feel like it's lost something essential. But if we're willing to serve